Hello, third grade. So this week we're going to work on our Square One art project. Now for Square One, it's a way for us to do a fundraiser for art. So once you make your art on this piece of paper right here, it's like a square. You could order it like on a mug, or maybe a mouse pad, or maybe like a little garden flag. And that is sent to you right before winter break. So it's going to be like the first week of December. And it's great for making gifts. It's also great if you want to purchase one that's going to be like a tile to go in a cafeteria, so that your artwork could be there forever and ever and ever, which is going to be awesome. So in third grade, we make a sunflower. So the way I like to start my sunflowers by tracing a circle first. You could use whatever you would like to trace your circle. Right now I'm going to use this right here, which is my watercolor. I'm going to trace it, and the middle part of my flower, I like to make it darker than my petals, but you could decide to switch it around if you want. So I'm going to do it like a brown. Okay, so I'm going to hold my circle. I'm going to trace it, make sure it's in the middle. There we go. So I've got a nice little circle right here. Now this is a really dark brown. I can decide to use a little bit lighter. And by the way, what I'm using right now are oil pastels. And the reason why I'm using oil pastels is because the color is a little bit more vibrant than crayons, but you could totally use crayons if you want, or even markers. But the way I'm going to show you today only works with oil pastels. Okay, once I'm done with this, look, I could take my finger and I could smear it. So it makes it a little bit more smooth, okay? But I'm going with my lines, because if you go against your lines, then it's going to make a mess. So you don't want to make a mess yet. Okay, now I'm done with this. I'm going to use the gold that I have in here. I'm going to make some petals. So you could decide that your petals are curvy, like this, or you could decide that they're pointy. Now I'm going to make you a pointy one so you can see. Now you always make them on the opposite side. That way you know that your sunflower will be symmetrical. So I'll do pointy, pointy. I like my pointy ones, by the way, but you don't have to do the same. Oh, now I could do two. I'll do two. And you know, sunflowers, they're not perfect. I hope you understand that. So if you make a mistake, it is fine. Look, I'm going to make that one curvy and this one pointy. Okay, so I've got my sunflower going on. Now I'm going to color the inside. But to make it look really cool in 3D, I'm going to add a lighter yellow. Okay, so this is kind of like a goldish yellow. This is more of a lighter yellow. And I'm going to color the inside. Not, oops. What happened here? Uh-oh, that was a little dust from the oil pastel. That happens. It's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and see, I keep on getting some of that dust in there, but that's fine. This is not a big deal. Okay, so I'm coloring all of them. And now I'm going to take my gold and I'm going to add some more gold around. And I'm telling you, it's going to look so cool in the end. And if you decide that you wanted to do a different color for your sunflower, I mean, obviously then it's not a sunflower, it's going to be a different kind of flower, but that's okay because that's your artwork, okay? Just make sure you choose colors that mix well together. So don't go and choose some complementary colors like orange and green, orange and blue, because then it's going to give you an ugly brown, right? You want to make sure you're using good colors. Okay, so now right now you could use your finger and just smear it all together like this. See, I'm going around like that. I'm erasing all of the white. I'm not sure if you could really see this on my camera very well, but I like to do this. Another way to do it, by the way, you could just use your yellow and go back and blend it in with your yellow. But then you get a little extra oil pastels and you're using more. So that's why I like to use my finger instead. I'm going to add some more just to show you what it looks like. And then here you go. Okay, so I'm almost done. I'm going to finish up real quick. Okay, now I am ready. Okay, So this is the special part, okay? First of all, the center, you could do a spiral if you want. You can decide to do little dots. So you could decide that you have little dots like this, or you could decide that you have a spiral. That's going to be your choice. Or you could do both. See how you like it, okay? Here in each one, look what I could do. I could go back and add some lines like this to make it look interesting. See how I'm making this a little bit interesting in the middle? You don't have to. That's just an option. But here's the cool part. When you're all done, you're going to take black. And when you take black, you cannot do it first, okay? Because if you do it first, it's going to be messy. Go around your circle. Take your finger. Now your fingers are going to get really dirty if you do this. And you're going to go around that circle. You always want to follow your lines, okay? Don't go against your lines. Always follow the line. And then you're going to go from the black circle and you're going to go and trace all of your petals. Don't forget to go from the black circle out, okay? You don't want to go like this, like that, because then it's not going to look real. You want to make it look more real, then you go all the way to the middle, okay? And the reason why we do the black is so that it could really stand out a lot. If you don't do it, it's not the end of the world. It just won't stand out as much. That's all. It's not a mistake. It's just will be different. That's all. Now I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to trace all of them. And look, it almost creates like a little shadow. So I'm following my lines. Don't forget, follow your lines. Always follow your lines. If you don't follow your lines, then that's when you make some big mess. Okay? So follow the lines. Okay, almost done. There we go. Okay, so now I'm all done. Now I can add some leaves if I want to. I could add some swirls. I'm gonna add some leaves like that. I'm gonna color these in green with a lighter green to show that it's interesting. Not just one color, right? You could decide to put some spirals. So it looks like little vines. And I always like to use white with oil pastels because then it's kind of like a little magic trick when you do your watercolors, okay? So I am pretty much done. If you want to, you can write your name somewhere around your flower. You don't have to. So today I'm gonna use, I could use watercolors or I could use liquid watercolor. So if you're gonna do liquid watercolor, sometimes it stains, so you have to be aware of that. So that's your decision, okay? I'm gonna show you. So the liquid watercolor, I diluted it a little bit. I added water, and then you just add it on and you just paint everywhere around your flower. Do not paint on top of your flower, okay? Well, you can. Look, nothing happens if you paint on top. Or if you didn't press hard enough, then it would. If you use crayon, sometimes it would cover up a little bit more. But if you're doing it with this watercolor, it should not. If, let's say, I decide to go into my watercolor instead of the liquid one, it would still work. Okay, look at that. And you may want to prefer to do blue instead of purple, but it's just purple is what I had. And like I said before, if you don't think that it's something you want to do, if you're like, we don't have watercolors, I don't want to do watercolors, that's fine. Just do it with a marker. It just won't be able to smear everything like I just showed you, and that's okay. And there we go. And that's our 3rd grade art projects for Square One. I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure when you take a picture, you take a picture of your whole paper. You take a good picture. Go outside, sometimes that helps. And make sure you send it to them or drop it off at school so I can send it with everyone else's. Okay? Go have fun.